Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Abington High School. Tonight, the players and fans of Abington High School Green Wave Basketball welcome St. Luke's Grammar School of New South Wales and Australia. Please direct your attention to the visitors' bench area as we now announce the starting lineup for St. Luke's. Starting tonight at forward, number 12, Oliver Dobell. At center, number 14, Hayden Snell. Starting at guard, number 15, Jack Roberts. At guard, number 34, Tom Jenkins. And starting at guard, number 59, Dylan Lewis. St. Luke's are led by their head coach, Nathan Kerwin, and assistant coach, Craig Baker. And now, please join me in welcoming your 2023-24 Abington Green Wave Varsity Basketball team. Starting tonight for the Green Wave, at guard, number 11, sophomore Kingston Maxwell. Starting at guard, number 20, sophomore Tyler Stady. Starting at guard, number 10, junior Michael O'Reilly. At forward, number 4, senior Will LeBlanc. And starting at forward, number 23, senior Connor Pease. The Green Wave are led by head coach Peter Serino with assistants Jay Brown, James Smith, Chris Marquardt, Bud Madden, and Chris Ty. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you all now please rise and remove your hats as we pay tribute to our respective countries and to those who defend our freedom by playing the national anthem of Australia and having Jason Shorter sing the national anthem of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Shorter.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, basketball fans of all ages, hello and welcome back into the gymnasium here on the campus of Abington High School. That's in Massachusetts for all of you who may be watching from overseas, as the St. Luke's Grammar School of New South Wales, Australia comes all the way across the pond for a summer vacation trip. It is summer in sunny Australia. They'll face the Abington Green Wave in the Green Wave's last scrimmage before their regular season starts. I'm Mad Dog Matt Nelson, joined alongside by Dr. James Madden. Doc, the fourth and final game of today between these two schools. What are we expecting to see from this one?
Oh, a high-intensity game like we just saw with the girls' game, like we've seen all day. It's been a fun and energetic day of basketball here at Abington High School. And like you said, a summer break trip for the St. Luke's Grammar School, and a little bit of a culture change because, they went from sunny Sydney, Australia, and you step outside here in Massachusetts, it's, 19, 20 degrees with snow on the ground. So a little different from Australia, but the St. Luke's teams have played very well regardless of how far they've come, like we talked about, 23-hour flight. But it's been a fun day of basketball and such a fun event here at Abington High School.
Hayden Snell, Connor Pease, the two big men in to take the opening tip-off. Large student section here for the Green Wave. And so here is the opening tip-off. St. Luke's has the only contact, but it is tipped to Kingston Maxwell, the very tall and lanky sophomore.
And he had a great season for the Green Wave last year. He was a freshman starting on this team. Another freshman, Tyler Stady, there. But they're, two of the key returning pieces for this Green Wave team, and they're going to need to come up big this season if the Green Wave want to have any success.
Jack Roberts gives over to Oliver Doble. Doble finds Hayden Snell. The other St. Luke's starters include Dylan Lewis wearing number 59 and Tom Jenkins wearing number 34. Jenkins with it now. The Green Wave starting lineup is Connor Pease, Michael O'Reilly, the aforementioned Kingston Maxwell, Tyler Stady, and Will LeBlanc.
LeBlanc, one of the few seniors on the Green Wave roster, as well as, like you said, Connor Pease, two players. They're going to be keys on this team. Nate Duggan, another one coming off the bench, and Connor Pease, as we mentioned him, gets his first bucket of the game.
And what an assist from LeBlanc. This is Roberts. Stady, James, was the impressive freshman last year who hit multiple threes in that season opener.
And he was, like we said, he was, he played so well for the Green Wave that opposing teams started to circle his name on the roster, and, we saw different defensive looks at him, a lot of box and one against him, try and limit open three-point attempts. But Stady had a great season, and the Green Wave are looking for an even bigger leap from Tyler Stady to start this season.
Michael Riley's shot doesn't go. Rebound to Hayden Snell. Travel is going to be called here on Snell. Multiple players on the floor, James, members of the Green Wave football team.
Yep, and the Green Wave football team had a strong season. You see Mike O'Reilly, might be one of the more primary ball handlers for the Green Wave. He was the quarterback. Kingston Maxwell, one of the receivers. Connor Pease down in the trenches. And Will LeBlanc, a running back. So, just goes to show the athleticism this Green Wave team will have this season. And, they all play different sports, and they all succeed at those sports. So just a very athletic group that the Green Wave will have this year.
First three of the day for Stady. Puts the Green Wave up 5-0. And a turnover committed by St. Luke's. They're wearing their navy blue jerseys. Gold trim around the white numbers and lettering. The Green Wave in white jerseys, green shorts, solid green numbers and lettering. Stady rotates to Maxwell. His three doesn't go. Rebound to Roberts. Roberts will take the triple. High arcing, didn't go. Rebound this time to Maxwell. Stady underhands to Michael Riley. Now Connor Pease. Back to Maxwell. Pease catch and shoot. It works for a second time, James.
Yeah, and that's going to be the Green Wave's bread and butter this season is, finding Connor Pease down low, and Kingston Maxwell did a good job at finding Connor as he cutted. And the Green Wave up to a 7-0 run to begin this one.
Stady putting on some serious hype in between last season and this season as Jack Roberts hits a long 2. Kingston Maxwell was fouled on his way up. He'll be at the line for 2.
We talked about Maxwell earlier. He's a multi-sport athlete. He played for the football team this fall, but he's very athletic. He might be, quite possibly the most athletic player on this Green Wave team. And he's able to be a ball handler, but he's able to, stretch the floor, play as a wing, maybe even play down low in a smaller lineup. So Kingston Maxwell is going to be an important part of this team, not only this year, but in the coming years. He's only a sophomore, and like we said, alongside Tyler Stady, he started as a freshman last season on the Green Wave. So 2 players with bright futures in the Green Wave program.
Maxwell, 2 for 2. Oliver Doble gives back to Snell. Snell at the elbow, dumps back out to Doble. His 3 doesn't go. Connor Pease the rebound. Maxwell in transition.
And that's going to be another thing the Green Wave are going to look for this season is not only Kingston Maxwell to attack the hoop, but score in transition. The Green Wave, around the South Shore League are notorious for trying to play in transition and play fast. And that possession was another, representative of what Kingston Maxwell can bring to the table with his athleticism.
Michael Riley the rebound. And he pushed it out of play off of his leg. Nate Duggan gets ready to come into the game. As does Jake McSherry. Here's Pease, another assist from Michael Riley.
And that's what Connor Pease is going to do for them this season. He's going to, be able, if he gets out in transition, he's going to slam it home. And Pease, one of the bigger players, not only on the team, but in the South Shore League. And if he's running the floor like that with the Green Wave are going to have a very successful season.
Pease called for the foul on the other side.
Jack Roberts at the line knocks down his first attempt at the charity stripe. Chance to go 2 for 2. No good. We'll go off the back iron. McSherry draws a foul, the second team foul that will go against the St. Luke's Grammar School. McSherry will head to the line in his first action of the ball game. McSherry good on his first attempt at the line. Like we said, a junior on the Green Wave basketball team. He's an Abington kid, though. Transferred in from Cardinal Spellman. 2 for 2 at the line is McSherry in his first action of the ball game.
Jenkins gives over to Finn Hendry. Back to Jenkins. He lost the handle. First one there. Kingston Maxwell. Duggan can't get the bucket. And out of play off of the Green Wave. St. Luke's calls a timeout here with 3:10 to go, remaining in the first quarter, 15-3. Abington, James, it is looked like the Green Wave picked up right where they left off.
Yep, and the Green Wave, like we said, are going to want to try and play fast, play in transition, and that's what they've done. We've seen Kingston Maxwell attack in transition. We've seen Connor Pease throw one down in transition. And, it's kind of been a picture-perfect start for the Green Wave. This isn't their first game action. They had a kind of a jamboree, so to speak, at Whitman Hanson High School where they participated in scrimmage against Brockton, Whitman Hanson, and Attleboro, as well as taking on Attleboro here at Abington High School last Friday. So they've had a chance to get out on the floor and get running together and get their first game action. But like we said, they're going to go in next week. This is their last action before their first regular season game. So they're going to go in next week up in Hull next Thursday and hopefully get off on the right foot and get off to 1-0 against the Hull Pirates team that always seems to play the Green Wave tough.
That followed by a Girl Boy doubleheader on Martha's Vineyard. It'll take place on Saturday. The Green Wave will get on the ferry. Green Wave will stick with Duggan, Maxwell, Pease. Jake McSherry enters the game. And Tyler Stady. McSherry, the junior James, similar size and build to Connor Pease.
Yep, and like you said, McSherry, is an Abington kid. He's born and raised in Abington, but started his high school career off at Cardinal Spellman over in Brockton before transferring back to Abington to begin this school year. So definitely, a good addition for the Green Wave, especially in the size category. Because outside of Connor entering the season, they didn't have a ton of size, but Jake McSherry will add a little bit of insurance down low for the Green Wave.
Rebound to Duggan. Maxwell rolls it off the window and in. Dylan Lewis, 3. Roberts doesn't go. Pease the rebound. Stady takes the triple and drains it.
Tyler Stady, like we said, he's going to have a big part of this Green Wave offense, knocking down threes, being a primary playmaker, and if he's knocking down threes at a consistent rate like he has tonight so far, it's going to be a good season for the Green Wave, and the Green Wave have a chance to make some noise, not only in the South Shore League, but in Division III.
Hit called on Connor Pease. Dylan Lewis to the line for 2 shots. It's his first. In comes Will LeBlanc and Jack Riley, the freshman. Jack wearing number 12, as he does over at Memorial Field on the football team. Number was actually retired and came out of retirement for the Riley children. And a backcourt violation called against the Green Wave.
And Jack, just a freshman, alongside his brother Michael, who's a junior. Michael, the starting quarterback of the Green Wave football team, and Jack hoping to succeed him one day, as he spent this season as the backup quarterback.
Did get a couple of minutes this season.
He did. He got some snaps at quarterback, as well as I think he did, have a couple pass attempts. I think it was over at Norwell. But Jack hoping, maybe his junior year, once his brother Michael graduates, to succeed his brother and to succeed his older brother Eddie, who also played quarterback for the Green Wave.
Eddie now down with the Tigers of Clemson, not on Dabo Swinney's squad down there, but enjoying it nonetheless.
Clemson football had a tough season this year, but still one of the more storied programs in the NCAA football world.
Roberts spins in. Shot doesn't go. Rebound to Stady. Duggan thought about the three, instead fires it in for McSherry. His spin around jumper doesn't go, but he was fouled by Hayden Snell. St. Luke's, coached by Nathan Kerwin-James. He is the head coach of all 4 of the teams that competed today.
And he's got his hands full over here, I think. You know, it's definitely not easy to coach one team, maybe even 2, but let alone 4 basketball teams. You know, you deal with so many different personalities, so many different players, you know, so many different playing styles, because as a coach, you need to find the playing style that best benefits your roster. And, you know, he has his hands full, but, you know, I'd assume one of the organizers behind this trip, and a once-in-a-lifetime experience for the kids on the St. Luke's basketball teams, and which has led to a terrific afternoon of basketball here at Abington High School.
Down low, didn't get it to go. Snell, and then a tie-up. Dual possession on the rebound attempt. It will remain a St. Luke's basketball. Long pass in. Tom Mascarnis was fouled by Nate Duggan. Duggan also a member of the Green Wave football team. Roberts throws it out of play. Duggan will inbound over to Jack Riley. LeBlanc, Riley, McSherry spinning, shooting, gets it. 20 seconds to go first quarter. 22-4, Green Wave on top. Travel called. It was Dylan Lewis on the drive in. And Hendry back in for St. Luke's. Five seconds. Jack Riley pushes the pace. Corner 3. At the buzzer, it's good for Kingston Maxwell.
And like we said, Kingston Maxwell brings a lot to the table for the Green Wave. He scored in transition. He's a lanky and athletic defender and is able to knock down a 3 when his number is called.
25-4. Abington on top of St. Luke's at the end of 1. Step aside, take a quick breather. Bring you second quarter action right after this. Second quarter about to get underway. It will be a Green Wave ball. Coach Peter Serino will roll with Jack and Michael Riley, Jake McSherry, Kingston Maxwell, and Will LeBlanc. McSherry doesn't get the bounce. St. Luke's with the rebound. They will go with Tom Mascarenas, Jaden D. Maxwell off the glass. Hayden Snell remains out there, as does Dylan Lewis. And Finn Henry. Loose ball picked up. And it's Henry in the corner. Up to Mascarenas. Lewis on the rotation. Doesn't get the roll. Rebound to Riley. Mike gives to Jack. Jack takes the pull-up. Two was blocked. Hayden Snell rips down the loose ball. Lewis thought about the three, had it blocked, I think, by Maxwell.
It looked like a deflection from Maxwell. Lewis kind of played it off very well. Maybe sold it a little bit, but no call on the floor for double dribble or a travel against St. Luke's.
Jack Riley all the way up to Maxwell, gets it back. Tried to fire it down low for LeBlanc. Brother Mike was open on the far wing. Calling for it. Pease and Stady come back in. McSherry and Jack Riley come out. Short jumper doesn't go for Maxwell. Lewis gives to Hayden Snell. And steps called on Mascarenas.
The Green Wave have really just hit on all cylinders to begin this one. Offensively, they've jumped out to a 27-4 lead, knocking down a lot of shots, but as well, they've been very good on the defensive end of the floor. St. Luke's hasn't had many good looks on the offensive end of the floor, as well as, they've been able to force a lot of St. Luke's turnovers, as we just saw a traveling violation go against St. Luke's.
Stady triple doesn't go. Pease the rebound, and it is flowing into the St. Luke's bench. Mike finds Connor Pease off the window and in.
And St. Luke's really has had no answer for Connor Pease or the Green Wave in any way down low. Green Wave has just been feeding Connor, and Connor's doing what he did last season, doing what he did the season before, and he's going to work down low and taking advantage of any mismatch he can.
Rebound this time to Kingston Maxwell. He takes the pull-up two, doesn't go. Gets his own rebound off the glass and in. Connor Pease the rebound. Maxwell finds Stady in stride. Stady to Michael Riley. He couldn't get the finger roll. Another St. Luke possession that they can't get the bounce off the iron. 4:45 to go in the second, 31-4. Abington on top.
And St. Luke's has really hit a cold streak here on the offensive side of the ball. They have, and the Green Wave are doing the polar opposite. They've kind of caught fire. Tyler Stady leading the charge, especially from beyond the arc. But
Third three of the game.
But St. Luke's has struggled on the offensive end of the floor, and you just hope for them they can try and figure out a way and figure out a will to get back into this one.
Offensive foul going to be called here on Jaden D. .417 remains in the second. Jake Tikhanoff and Nate Duggan back into the game for the Green Wave. Stady had an open look at three. Flings along the baseline. It is intercepted by St. Luke's. Loose ball on the floor. St. Luke's able to pick it off the deck, and finally a shot from the floor from Hayden Snell. Pease down low, pump fakes, then takes the jumper, doesn't go. Rebound stolen away from Tikhanoff.
travel will go against St. Luke's.
Jack Riley back into the game. Pease at the top of the key. Mike Riley gives now Duggan in the corner. Tikhonov. Corner three for Jack. Doesn't go. Pease the offensive rebound, and he got held up. It is dual possession, and St. Luke's is going to take over.
Another thing the Green Wave have done particularly well is they've been able to rebound on the offensive side of the floor well. We just saw Connor Pease come up with an offensive rebound and then draw a foul. So, you know, the Green Wave last year did a very good job on the offensive side of the glass. So it's another thing I think Coach Serino and the entire coaching staff is hoping for from the Green Wave is that they're able to, you know, do particularly well in the offensive rebounding category.
Pease picks up the loose ball off the deck. Now Michael Riley tried the bounce pass into Pease. It got deflected. Duggan will take the no-angle jumper, and it went halfway down before it rattled out. Lachlan Beresford tried to push the floor. Ryan Simonetti, also a member of the football team, and Jason Shorter, who gave a very impressive rendition of the national anthem before this game, James, into the game.
Yes, and Jason, you know, he hit every note he had to, and hopefully for the Green Wave, and hopefully for him, he's able to find some rhythm on the floor, but he did an impressive job. I know that Jason, you know, does release music and make music on the side, as well as he was with the, you know, with the school last year, but he suffered a knee injury in about October or so he's unable to get on the floor. So it's just good to see Jason back out there competing and playing basketball, and as well, like we said, you know, doing a very fine job singing the national anthem.
Can imagine most, if not all, of the Green Wave members will see the floor at some point tonight. Jake Tikhonov gets on the score sheet, his first points. I believe Connor Orlandella is the lone member on the roster yet to see the floor.
One of the few seniors on this Green Wave roster, Connor.
And here he comes. So every Green Wave member has now seen some action tonight. Orlandella on the far wing. Lost the dribble. Ball was kicked. Scrum, and St. Luke's comes away with it. It is Oliver Doble. Three doesn't go. Rebound loose. Tipped up to Jack Riley. Riley, bad angle, but he puts it off the window and in.
And Jack, I believe the only freshman on the Green Wave roster. And rightfully so. Jack's a talented player. We saw him go up tough, had a tough angle, and put it off the glass with left hand, give the Green Wave a 32-point lead.
Roberts has it tipped out by Jack Riley. St. Luke's trying to work the high-low.
And St. Luke's is trying to really do anything they can to make it more competitive on the offensive end of the floor. They've struggled to get quality looks, and they've just been very, you know, started the game cold from the field. And St. Luke's just trying to get back in this one and just stay resilient and stay the course and hopefully just stay competitive in this one.
Roberts flings it over to Jenkins. Short jumper off the glass, good for Lachlan Beresford. Corner three doesn't go for Simonetti. Simonetti also a running back used to pushing the pace. Beresford can't get the bounce. Shorter is going to get called for the reach in here. St. Luke's off the inbound. Roberts. And he got held up. A push is going to be called. Ryan Simonetti that time tagged for the contact.
Simonetti, another senior on this Green Wave roster. Like you said, kind of a hard-nosed player. He's a running back on the football team. And a player that's not afraid to get his hands dirty and play with some physicality.
St. Luke's hits a buzzer beater with Oliver Doble for 2. It's 38-10. We have reached the end of the first half, James. The Green Wave rolling.
And the Green Wave hitting on all cylinders on the offensive end of the floor and the defensive end of the floor. But I'm more particularly impressed with their, shot making. Tyler Stady has done a fine job from beyond the arc. Connor Pease down low. Kingston Maxwell has been able to stretch the floor nicely for the Green Wave. And those 3 players were the reasons the Green Wave have jumped out to a 28-point lead and are able to hopefully take this lead into the half and get away with a win before they get ready to, get ready for their regular season schedule next week.
We'll step aside, take a quick breather, bring you third quarter action right after this. Second half action underway. It is St. Luke's trailing the Abington Green Wave, 38-10 coming into the second frame of action. I'm Mad Dog Matt Nelson, joined alongside by Dr. James Madden. Doc, the Green Wave come out of the locker room firing. It is LeBlanc for a layup for 2.
And they're picking up right where they left off. The first half, all Green Wave, both ends of the floor. And a beautiful pass from Mike O'Reilly, a beautiful find. He finds Will LeBlanc in the paint, and the Green Wave extend their lead to 30, 40-10 to start this third quarter.
Stady had 3 threes in that first half. Fires it down low to Kingston Maxwell, who finds the bottom of the well. Three-point attempt, no good. Rebound to Stady. Stady hands for Maxwell, who had to roll off the bottom of his hands. St. Luke's on the turnover. The contested bucket doesn't go for Dylan Lewis. Stady back the other way. Pease, LeBlanc. Riley down low for Maxwell, and that is what full zone passing looks like.
Exactly, and the Green Wave have found Kingston Maxwell back-to-back possessions. He got back-to-back good looks. We've talked about him all game, but Maxwell's going to bring a lot to the table for the Green Wave on the offensive end of the floor. And he has the size and the athleticism to play, a 4 position for the Green Wave, maybe at the power forward. And we've seen him do it all for the Green Wave, and he's one of the reasons the Green Wave lead by 34.
Maxwell 3 doesn't go. Rebound to Dylan Lewis. That one goes for Stady. Lewis fires to the corner for 2, doesn't go. Rebound tipped from Michael Riley over to Stady. Long 3, bang for Stady, and a timeout called by St. Luke's. He's got 4 from beyond the arc, James.
And that's what he's going to bring to the table. Not only one of the best three-point shooters on the team, but quite possibly one of the best three-point shooters in the league. Tyler Stady, we saw last year with him knocking down threes at a consistent rate. And he pulls up from deep and is able to knock down his 4th three-pointer of the ball game. Green Wave now lead by 39, 49-10.
Timeout St. Luke's. We'll take it to 5.5 to go in the third. Abington up big. 5.5 to go. Abington up 49-10. James, we talked about it in the last game, but the state of basketball in Australia.
And basketball's, become very, very popular in Australia. Their Olympic team has been successful for a few years now. But, they've produced NBA talent all over the place, especially within the last 5 years. Josh Giddey, a player that comes to mind, Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, Patty Mills, who's an older player now, but even more recent guys like Dyson Daniels, who was a first-round pick just a couple years ago. So basketball's become
Dellavedova, too, I believe?
Matthew Dellavedova, exactly. So, basketball's become very popular in Australia, and they've been very successful in the international competitions. And, obviously, it's probably the second most popular sport behind Australian rules football. And I'm sure any Australian fans back home are going to probably laugh at me, but couldn't tell you the first thing about Australian rules football besides that it exists. So,
What about rugby?
And rugby. Rugby is very big, but I think rugby is bigger in New Zealand. I know New Zealand's national sport is rugby, because I remember they have the team called the All Blacks that are, believe pretty good at rugby. I'm not a rugby fan, but, I try to stay in the loop as much as I can. But it's hard to stay in the loop with rugby here because rugby isn't the most popular American sport by any means. But, moral of the story, basketball very popular in Australia and continues to grow and continues to rise the chain. And like we've said, they've had a number of players be drafted into the NBA the past few seasons and have had some very, good success in recent international competitions in the basketball world.
Former Boston Celtic Aaron Baines.
Aaron Baines, I want to say he's from New Zealand, but regardless, he's from one of the islands down there. And, a lot of these guys do end up going and playing college ball. In America, Aaron Baines is a Washington State guy. Dellavedova played at St. Mary's. A lot of them do play college basketball here, but, like we said, basketball very popular down under and is continuing to, gain popularity. And like we said, the NBL, another high-level basketball organization, an organization that features a lot of American players. So basketball, very popular in Australia.
Australia is the world's largest island.
And like we said, they had a 23-hour trip coming up here, and credit to them for even, getting here. Like we talked about, I'd love to go to Australia, but the 23-hour trip, might raise some question marks for me, but in the grand scheme of things, it is worth it, especially for these kids who have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to not only play here in Abington, but hit the road. They'll play in Washington, D.C. and New York later in the next coming weeks.
One would be interested. The closest Nando's to us here in Massachusetts happens to be in Washington, D.C.
Maybe it's a coincidence, or maybe it was planned. Maybe they're, might get a little homesick by the end of their trip and need some, fresh food from back home. It does surprise me that there isn't.
No, I'd be surprised if it compares to the real thing in Australia and overseas.
Yeah, it's probably a knockoff Nando's, but I feel like, Washington, D.C. has all those things because all the embassies and all the international people that travel to Washington, D.C., you need to, give everyone an option to have, maybe some food that reminds you of home every, now and then. So maybe when they're down in Washington, D.C., they can visit that Nando's and remind themselves of their home cooking.
Good bounce pass. A jumping two doesn't go. And a foul away from the ball. Jack Riley called for the foul. Current offensive coordinator, Father Ed, in attendance tonight. Not just a father to Jack, but also Michael Riley. Jack comes away with the loose ball this time. Fires over to Orlandella, who drains the triple.
Orlandella, his first bucket of the ball game, like we said. One of the few seniors on the Green Wave roster. Orlandella is, into the game, his second shift of the ball game, and has shown some promise. He's athletic, very long and lanky, and knocks down a three to give the Green Wave an even bigger lead.
Long two, no good. That one attempted by Finn Hendry. McSherry Works it up to Jack. Orlandella down low now for Simonetti. Bounced in towards the elbow for McSherry. High off the window, doesn't go. Three far wing, doesn't go. Rebound controlled by Abington. Looks like Shorter's going to come back in. Three for Jack Riley, too strong. St. Luke's controls the rebound. Jack Riley running the point for the Green Wave this time. Orlandella. Jake Tikhonov, his three doesn't go. Simonetti drives. McSherry gets the floater.
And like we previously touched on, McSherry adds a lot of insurance to the Green Wave front court, and Connor Pease obviously will be the starting big man. But McSherry adds, is a piece that the Green Wave didn't really have prior to him transferring to Abington, because they didn't really have, a big body down low after Connor Pease. But I'm sure Coach Serena and the coaching staff very happy that he did transfer, and it gives them more insurance in the front court.
47 seconds remain in the third quarter. Underhanded shot doesn't go for Hendry. The Green Wave have it. A 2-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Simonetti will set up the offense. Orlandella in for Shorter. He takes the jumper, doesn't go. Roberts the rebound for St. Luke's. 20 seconds for St. Luke's to attempt a shot. He'll take the three, doesn't go. Shorter the rebound. And he'll give it to Simonetti now with 10. Orlandella. Riley gets blocked loudly. St. Luke's does not get the shot off before the buzzer. A very loud block for St. Luke's to end the third.
And St. Luke's ending the third quarter on a little bit of trivia. I got a little bit distracted, but the St. Luke's ending the third quarter on a more promising note, and they will take into the fourth quarter, the final quarter of the day after 4 games, our second game here at Abington High School. 8 minutes to go before St. Luke's will hit the road and get ready to go play in New York. I don't know with the whereabouts in New York, but they will be playing in New York, and then, like we previously touched on, heading down to Washington, D.C.
The current question is the first Australian rock band to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
What is the predominant color in the Australian flag? Blue. And finally, all the music played tonight in all of the timeouts and at halftime. What is the one thing it all has in common? It's all bands from Australia. Congratulations, and thank you to our friends in Australia.
Sean Riley putting together a good show as always. Sometimes you just have to step back and enjoy what Sean Riley is cooking from the scorer's table.
And I'm sure the kids from St. Luke's were very confident about not getting any answers wrong there, because it's like us going down to Australia and getting American questions wrong. So they put on a nice show, and they've just had a great all-around afternoon here at Abington High School. And like we said, the last quarter of the day before both teams head their separate ways, but a terrific afternoon and a terrific event here at Abington, and it's been a great, afternoon for everyone involved.
All right, and now a test for high school student Dr. James Madden. We'll recap Sean Riley's trivia questions for you. What is the capital of Australia?
So I'm a geography buff, and I'm not going just because I heard them. It's Canberra. I am a geography buff back
It
at
is
home.
Canberra. All right. The first rock and roll band from Australia to enter the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio.
See, I wouldn't have. I was thinking, Men at Work, but then again.
See, that's what Michael O'Leary was shouting from behind the camera was Men at Work.
But I kind of forgot. Not only did I forget, I did hear the answer, but I can't take it as my own answer. But I did hear the answer as AC/DC, but I did kind of forget that AC/DC is from Australia. So I'm going to say AC/DC by default, but I will tell the viewers back at home that wasn't my doing. It was just the fact that all the Australian kids from in the stands screamed out AC/DC.
Now, see, my first guess, it's not that I forgot about AC/DC. I was going to go with the Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees.
I know of the Bee Gees. I couldn't tell you any of their music, but
You could Staying Alive.
I know.
You know the
Alive.
Bee Gees.
Never mind. I might know a song by the Bee Gees then. Oh, they wrote "Staying Alive." I know my dad's back. My dad's a music buff. My dad's back at home disappointed in me right now. But
Listen, HBO's got a phenomenal documentary on the Bee Gees. Your father's going to make you watch it at some point this weekend.
make sure I'm informed about Australian rock. But I know that he's back home shaking his head right now.
Shorter gets it to rattle home. Shorter gets blocked. So now one must ask, have you ever tried Vegemite?
I have not. And I'll be honest, I didn't know what it was until I was in the studio on Tuesday and you referenced it. So I'm a little out of touch with Australian pop culture, I'll be honest. But, after seeing an Australian basketball team come play, I'm willing to learn more about the culture, willing to learn more about, the way of life down under.
I've tried it once. It was all right.
Where did you go about trying this?
I was out actually in Washington, D.C. I saw it and I said, this has to happen. I did all the research before I slathered a whole lot of it on one piece of toast, which I didn't do because I did all the research that said just use a tiny drop and that'll be enough. You'll get the point.
I guess I'm missing out then. That's like
In small doses, it's all right.
Anything more than a small dose.
Anything, it's
Pushing
a
it?
little pungent.
Okay, makes sense. I don't know how many opportunities I'll have in Abington to try it, but if the opportunity presents itself, I'm always open to trying new things.
St. Luke's coming up with the steal there, trying to force it down low to Roberts. 6 minutes remain in the fourth quarter. What do the Green Wave take from this last scrimmage before regular season action? And what do they build on going into that regular season?
They did a fine job on both ends of the floor. They've kind of taken the foot off the gas in the second half, but I thought their shot making was very, on point. Tyler Stady, Connor Pease down low, Kingston Maxwell, like we talked about, has been able to stretch the floor and do it all. But definitely defensively, they've limited, quality looks from St. Luke's. They forced a lot of turnovers, and they just need to take this energy, take this, will to win into next Thursday's game up in Hull and start the year off right with a league win and get into the win column at 1-0.
A three. He's out of play. He's tempted by Oliver Doble. So being a geography buff, we'll give you the one free answer, New South Wales. Name the provinces of Australia.
Oh, now you're putting me on the spot. I'm going to do my best here. I know there's South Australia. I know there's Tasmania. I'm trying to think what's on the West Coast in the Perth and Adelaide region.
Perth is one.
Perth is a province. Then so I had South Australia, I had Tasmania, and I have Perth. Green Wave knocked down another three-pointer, but let's see here. I know that. See, I'm kind of failing at this.
Perth is the capital of one of the provinces.
Okay, but I know for sure South Australia is one and Tasmania is one.
You are correct.
Okay. I got two right. I don't. There's probably.
And we gave you New South Wales.
So that's three of. I believe there's seven, right?
Six.
So 3 out of the 6. So I have a 50%. That might be the best I'll do.
Western Australia, of
So
which
it is-
Perth is the capital.
I was trying to think about the West Coast, but I didn't know if it was just a layup like South Australia. So I went away from the layup, but
Queensland,
Queensland.
which is one that I feel you should have gotten.
I probably should have gone. I think that's where. Yeah, I feel like that might have been a layup too.
And Victoria.
Well, I had a poor performance there. It's difficult, to be put on the spot. In my defense, But regardless, I didn't show up for the big time, and
I learned a lot about Australia and the Great Barrier Reef from one of my favorite movies, Finding Nemo.
really. See, even children's movies, not even a children's movie, even movies.
They sneak in the little educational
Exactly.
aspect without
what they're there
feeling like you're learning. So they
That's what
keep
it's
it
all
fun.
about. That's what it's all about. Favorite Finding Nemo character?
Finn.
Finn. Anyone back home who hasn't seen Finding Nemo, I recommend it.
You're missing out. A 3 doesn't go.
If Mad Dog Matt Nelson speaks highly of it, you must watch it. It's one of the rules of life.
Roberts takes the triple. That one rattles out. Simonetti called for the contact. 7th foul called against Abington.
And how about this, man, Nelson? I just checked my phone. First drive, Patriots touchdown.
Should have taken the over.
Who's to say it will go over? It's still early. Talk about a tough season.
Patriots had a former Rugby Sevens character player on the roster.
Nate Ebner, yep.
Nate Ebner played for, was it the New Zealand national team?
I think so. I believe he played college rugby, and he had ancestry that traced back to, I think, New Zealand. And then he was able to, I remember him missing a portion of training camp while he participated with the New Zealand rugby team. I believe it was the 2016 Brazil Olympics. Two very similar sports in their own right. Requires a certain edge, you could say.
Three-second violation, I believe they call here.
First one of the ball game.
2:48 to go. Abington up big, 63-16. Jumper doesn't go. Rebound to Simonetti. Riley, nice dish down low. Shorter pump fakes the long two and lost the handle. Simonetti picks it up beyond the arc. The Green Wave reset with still 15 seconds to go on the exorbitantly long shot clock.
35 seconds. Second year with the new rule in effect. Originally, obviously, the 30-second, but I guess we can just be thankful. Massachusetts is one of the 8 states that requires a shot clock.
That's astounding to me. The rest of the states need to catch up.
And I wonder if the kids from Australia, from St. Luke's, have ever experienced a shot clock, whether their school uses one back home or what the case may be. But Massachusetts, like I said, one of the 8 states out of 50. So. Come on, America. Copy, Massachusetts alongside those 7 other states, because the shot clock is just flat out good for basketball. And, we complain about the 35 seconds slowing it down, but it at least speeds it up a little bit and doesn't, make it a 20-18 game.
Roberts hitting a 3. Green Wave looking for an answer on the other side. Tikhonov drives baseline. Doesn't get the floater, contact, and the foul. One-on-one bonus situation for the remainder of the contest for St. Luke's. Well, this will be the auto, too.
Yep, the new rule. Talk about a new rule change. No more 1-on-1, 2 free throws automatically. And 1:19 to play in the final game of the Abington-St. Luke's matchup.
1 for 2 from the line. Gives St. Luke's 20 points, 65-20 the score. Green Wave can dribble it all the way down to about 40 seconds. Jack Riley. McSherry. Simonetti takes the triple and nails it.
And that's just how the night's gone for the Green Wave. Hitting on all cylinders. All the shots falling, and like we said, have been able to get some key stops on defense, limit the good quality offensive looks from St. Luke's, and we'll get away with a win as we head into the opener next week against Hull.
Shot clock off, 28 seconds to go. The Green Wave can dribble it out. And they will come away with a split in the boy-girl varsity doubleheader. The girls falling on what I consider a buzzer beater. 57-56, the final score of game 1. St. Luke's on top. And this one will end with a final of 68-20, James.
And the Green Wave it was smooth sailing for the Green Wave from the jump. They were able to, control the tempo from the beginning, open the game on a 20-4 run, and never look back from there. They hit on all cylinders, offensively, defensively. You name it, the Green Wave looked good tonight, and we're hoping to carry this into next week as they get ready to play Hull.
Player of the game.
Player of the game's tough because there were so many good players. I'll go Kingston Maxwell. Tyler Sadie had a very good night, but I think Maxwell provided just everything for the Green Wave, defensively, offensively. He rebounded, he led the charge for the Green Wave, and he was, one of the key parts to their 48-point win over St. Luke's.
I'm going to give it to Stady. The women's game, I have no doubt we're going to say the same person. Ozzy Afwala.
Yep, and she was, single-handedly at one point took over the game. And like we said in the women's game, St. Luke's trailed by 13 at the half and 13 in the second half, and she willed them all the way back into the game, and they were able to get away with a 1-point win. And like we said, split, but it's more than the basketball game. It was a great event here today, and the Green Wave hosted St. Luke's here and over from New South Wales, Australia, and we just wrapped up the final game. terrific time, terrific basketball, and an all-around terrific event here at Abington High School.
I want to thank you for watching this production of Abington Community Access and Media. On behalf of our cameraman, Michael O'Leary, our executive producer, Kevin Tachi, my broadcast partner, Dr. James Madden, I am Mad Dog Matt Nelson. We will see you next game.